Hey, what's going on, y'all? It's Todd coming at you with, of course, another episode of Living Your Best Life. And you know what we do on the show? Well, I'm going to tell you if you don't know. We invite professionals on to talk about what they do and how what they do is contributing to a healthier society, a wealthier society, a better society in general, right? That's the show, and that's what we do. And today, everyone, you're in for a real treat. Miss Jackie Horton, who is a licensed clinician in terms of mental health. And she has her book out called From Trauma to Purpose. And her story in the book, I've read it, is amazing. Okay. And she's talking about dealing with her trauma coming up as a child and how she's been able to overcome a lot of the trauma that she's been through. And this is an important show. Why? Because so many of us are dealing with trauma that is either unrecognized or we don't want to deal with it. And I just had a traumatic situation in our family or friends of ours, and because they probably weren't able to deal with the trauma as well as they hoped or they thought they could. And so this is an important show once again to help people understand trauma and how to manage it, how to navigate through it, and seek the professional help that you need in order to deal with the trauma. So, awesome show. You're going to really, I really want you to pay attention to this. And if you know anyone that's dealing with depression, if you know anyone that's dealing with anxiety issues, make sure that you do pay attention to the show and reach out to this lady. And if at minimum, definitely grab her book. Okay, from Trauma to Purpose. So with that being said, she's going to be on the show in the next couple minutes after the commercial here, because you know what the commercial is all about, right? Yes, you do. And if you don't, I'm going to tell you, we got the challenge that's going to be coming up. So make sure that you get in on this challenge. All right, it's right around the corner. So what challenge am I talking about? Well, it's the Well Beyond 50 Reset Challenge. So of course, if you're like me, you're 58 years old right now, and you might be feeling some aches and some pains. You might be putting on the weight. You might not feel as much energy as you had maybe a year ago or some years ago, whichever one. So this challenge is to definitely challenge all those areas when it comes to nutrition, when it comes to movement, when it comes to mindset, anything when you're talking about getting well and staying well beyond 50. And that's the goal. All righty. So that's the goal. That's the mission. That's the challenge, everyone. So make sure that you get in on the challenge. But before the challenge, we got the webinars that are going to be kicking off every Sunday and every Thursday. Alrighty, so make sure that you get the information so you can make that informed decision about whether or not the challenge is for you. I know it is, but you have to make that determination. So get in on the webinar to find out more about what the challenge is, because we got some really cool things that are coming up in this particular challenge, more than we did in the last few challenges. So you're going to be really pleased with what the new things that we have coming up, the new features and tools. Alrighty, so everyone, check out the challenge and the information, the link and all that stuff, and check out the commercial talking about the challenge. Alrighty. So anyway, everyone, that's that. Miss Jackie Horton, author, powerful speaker, coming up on the other side of the commercial in about 30 seconds or so. All right, everyone, that's that. I'll see you on the other side. Y'all be good. Peace. Hey, what's going on, y'all? It's Todd coming back to you. Listen, like the commercial said, listen, I want everybody to get in on the next challenge coming up in August this month. So make sure you get in on the challenge. Now, we've got the webinars coming up. So make sure that you click on the link below to find out what the challenge is all about. All right, all the new cool features that we're bringing to the challenge. So make sure, like I said, you get in, click the thing below and get on the webinars. And I think there's one happening tomorrow night, Sunday night, And then Thursday night. So every Sunday and Thursday up until the challenge start date, which I think is on the 18th. So once again, make sure that you get in on that challenge. Alrighty, so enough about me, as always, enough about that challenge. As we always say, we're going to get on to the next guest because I was so just like amazed with her journey. And I had the opportunity, my wife and I had the opportunity to hang out with this couple here. And she's the better half of the couple of the Hortons. And Carl, don't beat me up. You know what I mean? We got to, these women are awesome women, man. And I had the opportunity, or my wife and I had the opportunity to hang out with them at their home in Greensboro or High Point. You're in Greensboro, right? I don't know.
Greensboro.
So it's all Greensboro. So like I said, we had the awesome opportunity to hang out with them at their home, and they fixed us a lovely dinner, and we just had a great time, just having some really deep conversations. And so it was so deep that I was like, okay, I've got to have her on as a guest on the show because her life story, her journey is amazing. And that's what we do here. We're here to bring you the people that are out there in the trenches on a daily basis, helping people live their best lives. And this sister is out here doing it. And she's not only doing it, she is just, she's walked the walk. Okay. And so she understands the journey of what it means to experience trauma and knows the journey of what it means to be on the road to healing yourself. And so that's where we are. And that's what we're talking about this afternoon, everyone. And I'm so excited to have Mrs. Jackie Horton on today. So Jackie, thank you so much for coming on and hanging out with us for a little bit today.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, yeah. So my audience, okay, they don't know you as of yet, but we're going to get to know you and what you're up to because you have an awesome book out that's coming out or that's out already. And
Mhm.
so we're going to be talking about that in a little bit. But I would definitely want my audience to kind of like get to know who you are, what you're up to, and just kind of like, introduce yourself to us a little bit.
Sure, of course. Well, as mentioned, I am Jackie Horton, and the most important roles that I play in my life are as a mother, a wife, a grandmother, sister, and family member. Those are the things that are most important to me. Aside from that, I am a licensed clinical mental health counselor, and I'm also a trauma survivor. And I believe that you said it all when you said that when we can turn trauma into purpose, that is what enables us to begin to walk in our purpose. And I am a living witness of that. I have walked through a lot of trauma, some of which is mentioned in my book. But I'm not here to talk about trauma per se. The emphasis is on healing from trauma. And I think because a lot of times, even as a clinician, I hear clients say, well, yeah, all we do is to rehearse the trauma, rehearse the trauma. And, sometimes we do have to, go back and face those shadows. But I think in my book, From Trauma to Purpose, I offer things that are measurable and things that are reasonable to help you to manage the stress that trauma brings. And yeah, so that is who I am. I am called to the healing ministry. And that involves a whole lot when it comes to dealing with people. And the first measure was for me to heal myself. That was the first thing I needed to do, was to heal myself. And that required a whole lot of intentionality and loneliness and separation, a lot of which a lot of people find themselves in that situation right now. And so my purpose and reason for being here today is to offer people hope. There
Yeah.
is a hope. There is a hope for tomorrow. I am a living witness of that. And each of us are so important. Like I get to tell my story, but we each have a story to tell. And I also want to inspire other people to tell their story because someone needs to hear it. If only one person read my book, I've done my job because if each one reached one,
Hmm.
then everybody is taken care of. So yeah, that's a little bit about who I am. I do reside here in Greensboro. My practice is also in Greensboro, and I specialize in trauma. I'm a trauma informed clinician, but I help people with anxiety, depression, bipolar, all of these symptoms most times of trauma.
Mm. Thank you so much for that, Jackie, because as I'm sitting here thinking about, we grew up, you and we grew up in a time when what we call trauma, more so now,
Mhm.
was almost a part of an accepted part of society when we were coming up. And thank God that we are definitely exposing it. Thank God now that we are talking about it.
Yeah.
But my concern is, do we have the tools to heal from the trauma? I know we're talking about it more. You broke down a lot of things in your book, and I love your book, and I love the vulnerability that you shared in your book, because I know that took a lot of courage to
Mhm.
actually speak on.
Mhm.
Um, but the healing process is no easy feat. I know, because I haven't been nearly through what you've gone through, and each one of us has our own, like you say, trauma experiences, whatever that might be. But there are levels of trauma, and you really, been through some tough times. The healing process is, like I said, is what I'm so concerned about. Uh,
Mhm.
how do we heal from all these things?
Well, I mean, you brought up a good point. We often walk around with trauma,
Hmm.
not knowing we have trauma.
Mm,
And the reason why we don't know we have trauma is because it has been normalized,
yeah.
either through, religion or uh, politics, just this world that we live in. So
Hmm.
much is just normalized. For example, well, yeah, I got beatings as kids, but everybody in my neighborhood did.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I mean, oh, you think that's a big deal because your daddy beat your mom? Well, my daddy beat my mom too. Get over it, right? People walk around with trauma not even realizing that they have it. And so that's the problem with healing from it.
Hmm. Mm,
So the first step is to acknowledge the trauma. And that's a hard thing to do because now you got to deal with those shadows.
yeah.
Those spooky ones. You've seen these videos of the little children that when they see their shadow for the first time, they get all
Hmm.
scared and panicky and run from. Well, that's how trauma shows up,
Hmm.
as this shadow, this spooky something. Don't look at it, turn away from it, run from it. But that's what keeps it active, is not owning it, not looking at it, and not being willing to grieve it. Grieve that thing that happened to you. It's okay,
Yeah.
but don't let it stop you because that was then. See, here's what trauma does. Trauma sears on us like you searing like a
Hmm.
cow, right? Shh.
Yeah.
It sears on our whole being. And my book talks about all the aspects of that, the nervous system, all that. All that. It actually shows up in sickness and disease and things like that. But it sears on us, but it never sears the time that it happened.
Gotcha.
That's our job.
Yeah.
That was then, this is now. Trauma presents itself as present behind because of triggers. Someone might say something to you the way your father spoke to you.
Mm.
Okay? Mm-hmm. So I might look at you a certain way, and it reminds you of the judgment that your mom placed on you when she was constantly reminding you that you were too fat.
Hmm.
That didn't happen to me, but I hear these kinds of things, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so trauma doesn't sear the time that it happened, and that's where the work begins. We have to put trauma in its proper place. But listen, the beautiful thing is that trauma didn't come to break us.
Mm-hmm.
I know.
Can we fall in love with trauma?
Some people, no, I wouldn't say we fall. Yes, because it's a dance.
Yeah, yeah.
And it doesn't matter whether, my toes are being stepped on. At least I'm dancing, right? And so how our our system, our nervous system does. It's going to be on fire. It
Mm-hmm.
becomes adjusted to being ignited all the time. And so we're always in this fight or flight mode. And yes, that can become addictive. It
Right.
feels strange. That's why people say, I can't meditate. It takes practice because your body's used to being on the move and overthinking and all that stuff. And so, yeah,
And,
trauma can become a lover.
and I was going to say something too, because you said something addictive, and we do all the things to probably avoid dealing with the enemy or this trauma. So yeah, when we want to meditate, we want to quiet the mind, but uh, we say that we can't do it because it takes too much work, and so therefore we avoid it. And
Yeah. The first thing I tell my clients is that, this is going to be work.
mm,
And I think that religion has taught us to just ask God for everything and expect him to do it.
I'm with it.
But there's a part that we have to do. Matter of
Hmm.
fact, Jesus said it's finished. I'm finished. But he also said, but I'm sending the Holy Spirit so that you will have the power within to be able to face any situation, circumstance that comes your way. Problem is, we still looking outside of ourselves for that power.
Mm,
And we do that through seeking external validation. Mm,
yeah.
yeah, and things like that. But when you realize the power of God that resides on the inside of you, that in itself is such a huge stepping stone because it's going from what you've been traditionally taught. And so it takes time to be able to unlayer all these
Yeah.
layers that have
Yeah.
come over your trauma, right?
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
that's why therapy is so important. Find a good therapist that knows how to help you to unlayer those things without further damaging you, right?
Hmm.
Or keeping you stuck in that trauma,
Hmm.
right? And so, yes, to quiet the mind takes intentionality. To enter into your purpose in life requires intentionality.
Hmm.
Life itself requires intentionality. And so, but we have been taught, oh, let's just pray to God and Jesus is gonna fix it. No, you need to fix it.
Hmm.
You have the power within to do so. Seek wisely counsel. We've been given instruction as to what to do,
Yeah.
but this cycle, this dance, we get used to it. And it's scary to think outside of that because we always come to the assumption after trauma that, oh, I'm only going to end up disappointed. I'm only going to end up hurt again. So why even try? Especially if you've gone to church and you
Hmm.
thought that was the answer. And
Hmm.
then, you get filled with this church hurt. Now you don't like God anymore. You don't even know if you believe in God anymore.
Wow.
This is what I deal with on a daily basis.
Yeah. You went deep.
And so trauma affects us in three different ways, right? I mean, probably more than that, but areas: spiritually,
Mm,
physically, and mentally, emotionally, all that's in there together, right?
yeah.
And
Yeah.
so, yeah. And so it's like a three-leg stool, right? You shave off either one of those legs in either area, and you're going to have imbalance in life.
Wow.
And so what I do is I teach people how to balance those things.
Yeah. You
Calm
wrote in the
yourself down.
You wrote in your book, your body keeps the score. And that was something
Ooh,
I think that I always come around to because uh, the body will, will show you where you are. It
oh, it
will show
shows
up.
up.
Yeah, it shows up. So can you break that down, in terms of like, some of the parts of your thoughts on, yes, the body
Yeah.
keeps the score.
Well, so the nervous system is the engine.
Yeah,
Okay. Now it has different parts to it. Like you have the amygdala that kind of processes our emotions, right? The
yeah,
part of the brain that processes our emotions. And we also have like the prefrontal cortex,
yeah.
and that kind of helps us to control these emotions. But when
Hmm.
that nervous system is constantly fired, danger, 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 so much is happening to your body, like the adrenaline is actually rushing to your extremities
Hmm.
so that you're
Hmm.
able to fight, run, right? But there are other parts of your body that need this adrenaline. And
Mm,
it's a beautiful system. God knew what he was doing when he, I mean, it teaches us to be aware of danger. But if
hmm.
there's always this danger that's presenting itself that's not danger, but your nervous system picks it up as danger, then that thing is on override. What is this doing? It is breaking down cellular structure. There's so much. I can't even get into it all right now.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
even scientific studies have shown that people who hold like unforgiveness and things like that, which stems from trauma, they end up with cancer and different diseases and things like that. Yeah, your whole being is affected by trauma.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Jackie, how did you do it? Because, in your book, I mean, you laid out some really tough times with your dad.
Yeah.
And, uh, I was like, good Lord. And like I said, I thank you for your vulnerability, your level of vulnerability on that, because I know that wasn't an easy thing to share.
Not at all.
Yeah. But how did you, how did you get out of this? How did you overcome this stuff? Because And I say that, with the most sensitivity because there was a friend of ours who just recently committed suicide. And, in the voices in her head were, it was past trauma.
Mm.
And, and for her, I guess she felt as though life, yeah, there was something else on the other side that was so much better than this.
Mhm, mhm,
And,
mhm.
So how did you do it? Because like I said, yeah, you went through some tough times. And
I will tell you, oh, I have been a spiritual person since a child.
yeah.
Like I've always been drawn to spiritual things, right?
Hmm.
Always. I remember as a child, I don't know if you're familiar with Catherine Coleman, right?
I'm
I
not
think
familiar
that
with
you
it.
should. Okay, well, she was this lady, this white evangelist, and she would always wear white. And we had a black and white TV, so it looked kind of spooky because she'd walk out on stage, and I would literally see her float like she was floating.
Mm,
And
yeah,
I remember, some of my siblings being afraid of that, but I was
mhm,
drawn to it.
yeah,
And she had such a powerful spiritual nature about her that drew me. That's the earliest time that I remember recognizing that I was drawn to spiritual things. And oh gosh, some of the trauma I wouldn't even touch on now, helped to remind me mhm, that I was not alone.
mm, mm.
I always
That's
felt that I wasn't alone.
meaning what? So I want to be clear for everyone.
I always felt the presence of God in my life,
Okay.
even through the trauma.
Hmm.
I was always drawn back to that higher power, that that Abba Father,
Hmm.
right? But I also have to give credit to my mom. You say, how did I make it through? If I hadn't had a nurturing mother that was there to
Yes.
kind of offset some of that trauma, I may not have made it. And
Wow.
also I have loving sisters and brothers. You know, we kind of had each other. I hear people's story who have to suffer this alone. And even though I think I absorbed more of it than anyone else, I
Mm-hmm.
know they know what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And so we can have these conversations. And that was a way of having some escapism or a
Yeah.
release of that trauma. But I know for a shadow of a doubt that it was God that brought me through.
Mm-hmm.
And I also know that it wasn't just about me that He brought me through. It
Mm-hmm.
was about my purpose, why I signed up to come here to this thing called planet Earth.
Hmm. Y'all get that? So
Because He
Jackie.
said, I knew you before I placed you in your mother's womb. See, that resonates with me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I can see me saying, I'll go,
Yeah.
send me.
I'll take this. I'll take this role.
And when I see the woman that has been shaped from that trauma,
Yeah.
it's almost like a complete disconnect. It's like I've disconnected from the trauma. I know it was there, but I don't. It's almost like when a woman has a baby, and any woman that's watching this will understand. If you've ever pushed through that labor, you know that it was painful, the most painful thing you've ever experienced, but you can't remember the pain.
Hmm.
And I know there's some women saying, "Yeah, you know what? I mean, you know it was painful, but you don't re-experience that pain." Well, trauma, the cycle of trauma, is you re-experiencing that pain. The healing of trauma allows you to separate yourself from the trauma and realize that this was then, that was then, this is now. And I teach people how to live in the near here and now.
Mm-hmm.
Living in the here and now will always calm your nervous system. Why?
Wow.
Because if you are here right now, that alone is something for you to be grateful for. And what is the number one thing we need to do to balance our nervous system? Be grateful.
Hmm.
Think about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
When you're grateful, you're thinking about what's right, not what's wrong.
Yeah. No, you're right.
And scripture told us to do that. Think on things that are just and honest and pure. See, we have instruction, but religion has come in and made it so complicated.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna say it.
Yeah. I don't. Hey, let it go. Let it out. Yeah.
Somebody has to say it.
Yeah.
I know because I was in it,
Mm-hmm.
searching for external validation
Hmm.
when every answer you need is on the inside, because the Holy Spirit will teach us all things.
Yeah. Wow.
And so my trauma experience, I don't feel heaviness about it. Like this book was validation of my call and purpose.
Yeah.
Because I've gotten so many responses from people saying, "Oh my God, like this is really helping me in so many ways." And like I said, if it had only been one,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
did this out of obedience. Because God knew that even though I sit one on one with people every day, and even my clients would say, "Oh, Miss Jackie, you need to put this in writing. So many people need to, oh, Miss Jackie, you need to." And I heeded the call.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we all need to do, heed the call. We all have purpose here.
Yeah.
Stop
Yeah.
trading it in for displeasure.
Mm-hmm.
Stop trading it in for displeasure. Aren't you tired? Aren't you tired?
Well, that's that dance. That's that dance. We were talking about earlier. Um,
Familiarity.
Familiarity. Yeah. You
Yeah.
know you get comfortable with the dance partner, no matter how they show up and how they treat you.
At
And
least I'm dancing.
at least I'm dancing, and yeah, and that's I not to say that I don't get it because I do understand why we get there, but like I said, it's comfortable. It's the same old shoes, it's the same old clothes, the same dance partner that
Hmm.
you're so used to for
And you
all.
don't know how to trust anything else because, see, the
No,
world has taught you through trauma that you can't trust anybody or anything. And so, if this one thing that I can, at least I'm dealing with this. I don't,
yeah,
people don't trust themselves to
yeah,
discover themselves. They're
yeah.
afraid of what they will find. But I'm here to say, you're going to find your highest self. Who wouldn't want that?
Is it fear or trust? So the fear of the unknown, Jackie, is that, like you said, we don't trust, but it's that fear of the unknown or what's on the other side that we don't know about. And so that creates the distrust. How do we break these cycles? And like I say, you've done it. You
I'm
it,
doing it. It's
you're
a
doing it.
continuous road.
Exactly,
Yes.
exactly,
Uh-huh.
exactly. I was going to say you're doing it. You're still on your way because, and that's a good. It's a good place to phrase my next question. Are we ever healed, or is it an ongoing journey?
It's an ongoing journey,
Hmm.
but we can get to a place of peace. I tell people that peace should be your baseline.
Hmm.
Anything below peace is 3D stuff.
Hmm. Hmm.
And people who know what I'm talking about know what I'm talking about. But peace is the baseline. Anything above peace is 5D. That's where the joy is, the peace. And these are things that we have been instructed to think about. But you mentioned fear. Let's get back to that.
Yeah.
Fear is the root of it all. Every mental health diagnosis, unless it's something, fear. If it's anxiety, it's fear. If it's depression, it's fear.
Hmm.
But God did not give us a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind. And when I began to speak that over and over and over and own it, realizing that I have to take ownership of it because it's already been presented to me, that's when my life began to change. That's when so many areas, oh my God, of my life began to just open up and change.
Yeah.
I wasn't even trying. All I was doing was seeking God. That's all I was doing. But listen, we talk about healing the world. We need to heal the people of the world.
Hmm. Hmm.
It's not the
Yeah.
world that's sick, it's the people that's in it.
Starting with each ourselves.
Yeah, I'm a world changer. But did you start with yourself?
Yeah. Yeah. And and I'll be these are things honestly, Jackie, that I deal with on a daily basis, and that I have to confront. Like I was saying earlier, no, my level of trauma, and no one's trauma is probably the same trauma, but we all deal with some level of trauma.
You
That
living in this world as a black man, right?
Yeah, exactly,
Okay,
exactly.
go
Some
ahead.
level of trauma. There we go,
Mhm.
and so, but each and every one of us has to somehow figure out through this maze on how to get to the other end of this maze, to find, like you say, that peace. And it's an ongoing endeavor. I'm not the person that I was a year ago. Definitely not the person I was 5 years ago. And thank God I'm not the person that I was 10, 15 years ago. And
Okay, so that sounds like growth.
yeah, and so
Mhm.
and so I don't know if awareness, if consciousness comes with age, or just being, or just recognizing.
I wouldn't say age, but I would say life experience because age doesn't necessarily determine that. Life experience can determine lots of things for us. And
Mhm.
I heard you talk about, you said, well, my trauma isn't your trauma. No, it's not. But trauma is trauma. And
Yeah.
What was your initial question, though? You asked me, how do we?
Well, the initial question was, how do we get to the other side,
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
of this maze? Because we all have, the traumas that we deal with. And it seems like because of fear, it prevents us from opening up the door to
Mhm.
deal with those skeletons, the closet
Mhm.
and the
Mhm.
closet.
Well,
Yeah.
the first thing, as I said, is dealing with the. Oh, sorry about that. Dealing with the shadows that's causing the fear. But you need a
Hmm.
professional person to help you through that
Gotcha.
sometimes.
Yeah.
You know, you know, it wasn't just my trauma that brought me to write this book. It was my experience as a licensed counselor that helped me to put things into context to be able to help myself, right? Like I
Gotcha.
was
Okay. Yeah.
learning these things and also applying them to my life. And so the first thing, first of all, you have to recognize that you have a problem
Hmm.
and stop sweeping stuff under the rug. It'll get better, it'll get better. Oh, but this came
Yeah.
up in my spirit. Yes. Sometimes, and I'm talking to some people, but I'm going to use Martha and Mary as an example. So Jesus was coming to town, right? Yahusha,
Mhm.
Jesus, I'm going to put both, was coming to town. And Mary and Martha, the sisters, were there. And Martha was busy preparing for just busy preparing for Jesus. Well, Mary was just on the lookout for him, right? And then he finally comes, but Mary's the only one that notices him because everyone else is so busy cleaning and preparing for him, right? So what Mary did was she sat at Jesus's feet, right? And so when I talk about meditation, when I talk about, I mean, because see, let's be clear, Jesus did not come here to be worshiped. He came here to
Mhm.
teach us how to live in the spirit realm. He came to teach us how to utilize the power that he said we would even have more of once he
Mhm.
had gone, and
Mhm.
because he was going to send his Holy Spirit. And so we are here to exemplify that power.
Mhm.
But we can't do it if it's layered down with stuff. And so the first thing we need to do is start pulling back the layers. That the first thing is admitting that there's a problem. And then
Yeah.
you're going to find someone that you trust. Well, you're not even going to trust them because you're going to find a professional person
Yeah.
and you'll build that trust eventually. But you're going to
Mhm.
reach out there and go to Psychology Today and look through some profiles and see who you might connect with and start unpeeling these layers. And it's like an onion.
Yeah.
It's going to
Yeah.
make you cry. You're going to feel it. You're going to feel the burn. You're going to feel it. But you're
Yeah.
supposed to. Some people can't feel. They have dissociated to the point where they've cut off all of their emotions.
Mm.
And so those people need someone to help them to come back to themselves.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah.
We need to remember who we are.
Wow.
and
That
and
right
there's some
there.
people out there that know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Yeah. That right there is a powerful, powerful statement. Remember who you are. And oh boy, I don't know if I want to do that. Most
Well, that's
people.
why you need people, professionals, to help you do that because none of us want to look at our stinky selves. We don't want to look at that anger. People, I'm just angry all the time. Anger is a secondary emotion.
Hmm.
I teach people that. Even the Bible said, be angry, but sin not. What does that mean? I want to feel my anger. I don't want to not be able to feel, but I want to be able to manage it. And so the
Mm.
first thing is to understand that it's a secondary emotion and that there's an underlying emotion beneath that. And so if I stop saying I'm angry, but I said, you know what? I have abandonment issues and I'm
Mm.
scared.
Hmm.
And that's what triggers the anger.
Wow.
Well, now you have a basis, you have a root, you have something that you can swing at.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
This is what professional help will get you.
Yeah. In your book, you wrote
In my
about
book.
you wrote about things that can help you along the way, heal along the way.
Mhm.
Nutrition is important, which is right up my line, you know,
Yes, yes,
and exercise and all these things.
yes.
So, because I think when you are, I think when you are in this traumatized state, um, that leads to or can lead to bad decisions when it comes to how you move through life, when it comes to uh, lifestyle choices.
Mhm.
So, so did you, I guess, look at, okay, the food part, the nutrition part, and did that play a part in, your healing process?
Oh my gosh, listen, and remember I talk in my book about, this road is bumpy. It's up and down, right? You might go through certain cycles of things. There was a time when I was so nutritionally on point, working out, doing everything I had to do, and I felt the healthiest that I had ever felt. It wasn't until that relapse occurred, right, that I
Mhm.
discovered how beautiful that thing was.
Mm,
Right. And that's what prompted me to write about it and to readjust my own life back to it, because there's always going to be readjustments. We might, we might have a relapse every now and then, right?
yeah.
But nutrition, I mean, you think about it. Remember, we talked about the physical.
Hmm.
That's what you put in, is what you become, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yes. Now, as I said, I am becoming. And so, yes, talk about food. Sometimes we use that as comfort, right? That again, external validation.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're looking for something outside of us to comfort us, looking outside for someone outside of us to tell us we're okay. But we have to discover that for ourselves,
Yeah.
because really, otherwise, we become a burden to other people.
Yeah. Yeah, in more ways than one, because people don't realize is that your lifestyle choices, when it comes to food, can definitely become an issue, a health issue,
Absolutely.
down the road, and you want to make sure that, you avoid that if you can, or at least push that off as long, down the road as you can.
Yeah. Yes.
So your brothers and sisters, how are you guys nowadays? How many brothers and sisters do you have? I never knew.
I have seven
Ah,
siblings. My oldest brother is in the new earth.
yes.
Uh, my mother and father are too. Um,
Yeah.
my brothers and sisters, we are amazing. Like, I think that we are one of the most tight knit families that I know. Other
Yeah.
people even marvel at our relationship.
Yeah.
Have there been some ups and downs? Of course, of course. I mean, I remember one time resenting my brothers and sisters because their trauma didn't register like mine did.
Well, yeah, that's what I was wondering. How did
Yeah,
it
I'm like, how
play
y'all
out for
not mad at
everyone?
him?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And it'll cause you to sometimes have like this underlying, like, did they not see what he did? Did they not? But trauma registers with people in different ways. Like I said, some people actually dissociate.
Yeah.
Some people really can't even remember certain aspects of trauma. When
Hmm.
I tell you, it resonated with me,
Hmm.
every bit of it. And I think it was because I was always the one telling my mom, you don't have to be here. You can leave. Let's figure something out.
Were you the
Let's
fighter?
figure. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. And where do you range in terms of the age range in your brothers and
I
sisters?
am third oldest.
The
And
third
so
oldest.
again, the little lost child, right? The one that's right there in the middle that doesn't really get a whole lot of. And then how much of my mother did she have to give? I mean, she had 8 kids.
Yeah.
And so you're
Where
the third in line. And yeah,
where was that?
I'm sorry.
Where was that?
Where was what?
Where were you raised? Where?
Oh, here in North Carolina,
Oh,
right
you
in
in
High
Carolina?
Point.
Okay, right.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay,
I'm a native. Hmm.
okay. Gotcha, gotcha, gotcha.
Hmm.
Wow, that's amazing. But yeah, like you said, it's a lot of kids to um and everyone's probably experiencing trauma differently or that home
We
situation.
all experienced it differently. We
Wow.
all experienced it differently. And
Yeah,
that's because we're all on separate journeys.
yeah, yeah.
We are all on separate journeys. And it's us trying to control other people's journey and not attending to our own that gets us in the most trouble.
Did you ever
And
think that did you ever doubt yourself? Like, wait a minute, am I wrong here? If they're not experiencing, if
absolutely.
yeah, yeah.
Absolutely. And I wouldn't say I was wrong. I was misled by believing that holding on to the wrath and not forgiving.
Hmm.
And I don't know that they went through the forgiving process. It might just been a dissociation process, right? But
Yeah,
I had to go through the forgiving process.
yeah.
And it wasn't until I heard my dad's story. Hmm.
And which was
The trauma that he had endured as a child.
mm, mm,
Empathy started to swell up. That's when forgiveness could come.
wow.
And guess what? We all have a story. And so
Yeah,
that person that you're holding on to with anger and resentment, understand they have a story too.
yeah. Did you and your dad kind of like make amends at any point?
Oh my gosh. When my father passed away, I was singing and holding his hand at his bedside. It was the most beautiful, beautiful thing.
Mm,
And I was there with all of my siblings and I was there and I said out loud, I said, Dad, I forgive you.
mm.
And then I could hear my other sister through tears, I forgive you. So see, I know there was other trauma,
It was there.
but I
Wow.
literally meant that. Like when I tell you that I am so free, like I don't have aught in my heart for anybody, and I have been wronged.
Hmm.
Mm.
When you move into relationships, and this is, now you because a lot of times we move from these traumatized situations and we move into relationships, either attracting it to us or choosing it.
Come on. Yep.
How did you navigate that part of it? Because yeah, like I said, a lot of times we get caught in that trap of
Wow. Huh. This angel came into my life by the name of Carl Horton.
I think I know that
No,
guy.
no, no, no. Seriously.
Yeah,
My soulmate.
yeah.
Now, do we have trauma in our marriage? Do we have to overcome? Oh, absolutely. But let me tell you something. I have never felt more loved, supported, undergirded. I have not been shown the patience, the support that my husband has given me as I was on this journey of healing from my trauma.
Hmm.
Like I literally remember times when I would be sitting and unconsciously just have my fists
Hmm.
balled up, and he would gently just.
Release it.
It was the little things. It was him accepting me just the way that I was,
Mm,
but allowing me to grow.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah,
And now he had his trauma too, so this worked both ways.
yeah,
And some people will call it trauma bonding, but ours was trauma healing.
yeah.
We helped heal each other.
That's awesome. That's a beautiful story.
My
Beautiful.
life is a beautiful story,
Yeah.
even with the trauma.
Yeah.
It's a
And
beautiful story.
that's yeah, and a lot of people don't see, our trauma that way as it leading to the potential or the possibility of a beautiful story.
Well, it's hard
Yes.
to see light when
Yeah.
you're just something's holding you in darkness.
Yeah. Yeah. If you can get to the other side, like not to say to the other side, but if you can understand your purpose, like you say, uh, and you can express and share that purpose to other people to enlighten them, then almost like you said earlier, is to start with a bit of gratitude. And I
Mm.
know that when you're at bedside with your dad, as I'm sitting here thinking, I'm thinking about, wow, I wonder what level of gratitude you were feeling at that time to say, like, after all of it, I'm
The
grateful.
gratitude is that if it were not for this man that I call daddy, I would
Yes,
not be here.
yes.
He did the best he could with what he had.
Hmm.
I never thought I'd hear myself say that until a few years ago.
Yeah. And I think if we can look at a large part of everyone in that light,
Yeah.
that we're doing the best we can with the information and the level of growth and awareness that we have, grown into, then I can understand why you are where you are. I can see that a little bit more so.
My trauma birthed in me unconditional love.
Mm,
Thing I used to judge people. I don't judge people anymore.
hmm.
I look beneath that mask or behind the mask and try to see, hmm, wonder what's going on there.
Yeah,
And then I say a prayer for that person
yeah.
because it's not easy out here, if especially if you don't know God
Hmm. Hmm.
and if you don't know who God is in you.
Hmm. Yeah, that's powerful because, like I said, when you talked about your dad there, that makes the hair stand up on my arm, because I can imagine, you know, all the years of hurt and pain, but then to feel the love
Hmm.
in those last days. What a journey.
But if I I could not have survived what my dad survived
Are
as
you
a child.
serious? Wow. Wow.
When I heard what he went through, I was like, oh, that explains it.
Yeah.
Now, that doesn't take away the wrong. And this is what I want people to understand. It doesn't take away the wrong, but at some point, we got to stop looking at what wrong and right and just come to the conclusion that it is what it is.
Yeah.
And my responsibility is to make sure that I'm walking in my journey according to my purpose.
Yeah. So not to excuse wrong.
Not to excuse wrong whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
But when you keep looking at things in terms of right and wrong, sometimes it takes you out of your peace when you can simply say, that was just what it was.
Yeah. It puts you in a judgmental state, like you said, you
That
know.
I don't have room to be in,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
honestly.
Yeah.
Because see, I don't want anybody pulling down the screen and rolling my life out. You understand? I have no room to judge anybody, and neither does anyone else.
Yeah. I get you. I get you.
Okay. And so here we are. Here we are, commissioned with creating a new earth.
Yeah.
We can't do that unless people are healed.
Awesome. Awesome. Miss Jackie Horton,
Yes,
thank you so much.
it has been my pleasure. Thank you so much for allowing me to share what God had for me to share.
Yeah, I appreciate you and thank you for you. And I say that from a deep space because you help us realize that, yeah, we can do this. Yes, we can overcome.
You just got to have the will, and sometimes we don't, which is why we need professional help, someone to help coach us back at least to a state of motivation.
Mhm. And I don't know, but so the name of your book, From Trauma to Purpose. Okay.
Yes. Uh, Let me show you.
I don't know if they can see it here, but it's
Oh,
going to be
okay. Yes,
good.
you got it
Yeah.
there. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I'm going to put this book on my website also for
Okay.
everyone to check it out.
And they can
But
go to my website, JackieHorton.com.
JackieHorton.com, and I'll
That's
put
my
that down at
author's
the bottom
website.
too. Good
Hmm.
deal, good deal. And so, like I said, I'll put the book in the link on my website and get that out to everyone.
Thank you.
Uh,
I appreciate that.
but like I said, thank you for being you, and thank you for being of being of service mind and heart. Because you could retract and just, I got mine, and that's
Hmm.
that. But
Hmm.
you are here to be a light in the world. And as the show is called, Help People Live Their Best Lives. And so, once again, thank you so much for sharing. And as I read through the book, thank you once again for being vulnerable, the vulnerable person that you shared in this writing. Great book once again.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And thank you for helping teach us how to take care of our bodies, because that is really it's all connected. It's all connected.
It's all connected. It's all connected. And I
Mhm.
thought about that today at the I was training some people. And I love being able to move. I've always been an active person. I love being able to go low when I get on the floor and pull and
Mhm.
up on pull-ups. And so, I was thinking about that today. It's like, wow, it feels so good to be able to do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
I need a little bit more balance in that area. That's one of the things I've been
yeah.
working on recently.
Gotcha,
Yeah.
gotcha, gotcha.
Yeah.
It feels so good to move, and it feels so good to be
Yes, it does. It
all those
does.
things. And so
Yeah.
don't take it for granted, everyone that's out there listening. But once again, Miss Jackie Horton, thank you, and thank you to your awesome husband and for hanging out with me today. And I'll make sure once again that this information is up on the website, and we'll go from there. We do what we got to do each and every day to help people live their best lives. Okay.
It's us working as a collective. That's what
There
it's
we go.
about.
There we go. There we
Yes.
go. So
All
thank you once
right. Thank you,
again. All
brother.
right. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Take
So
care.
listen,
All right.
you guys, y'all take care, and I appreciate. Hold on, Jackie. I
Okay.
appreciate everybody for hanging out with us. And like we were saying, listen, if you're dealing with some kind of emotional trauma, mental trauma, whatever that might look like in your lives, just realize there are people out here like Jackie that are out here helping, people grow and navigate through those tough times. She's been through it, like I said earlier. She's walked the walk, and now she's able to talk the talk of been there, done that, and now look at me. So make sure that you get in contact with her, and at minimum, go get her book, okay, and see what she's offering to get on the other side or get started or get going. Alrighty, so get the book, From Trauma to Purpose. Alrighty, everyone. And this is Ty Cheek. I'm signing off. Another awesome episode with the awesome Mrs. Jackie Horton. Thank you so much, everyone. Y'all take care. Be good. Peace.